Good day. We are the Group 4 and we are here to talk about the HACCP plan we made for honey wine production that is also called as mead. So mead is an alcoholic beverage obtained through yeast fermentation of diluted honey. Mead is found in the history of many countries all around the world, and it is one of the oldest alcoholic beverage with variable alcohol content from 8% to 18%, mostly depending on the honey to water dilution ratio. So before we go through this plan, we need to divide these steps into 5. First is the honey sourcing. Second is the mass preparation that includes the filtration, mixing, boiling, and cooling. Third is the fermentation. Fourth is the bottling, packaging, labeling, and lastly the storage.
Here is the general process for producing meat. Before starting, pre-sanitize everything. And then heat 1 gallon at 60 degrees Celsius. And add 2 to 3 raw honey, 1 kilogram chopped pasas, and 5 teaspoon yeast nutrient. And then stir. Then reheat it for 80 degrees Celsius. Off heat, add 4 slices of lemon and at least 1 gallon of water, and then cool off. While transferring it into the carboy, use cheesecloth to filter and leave enough space for defoaming. Then place it in an airlock container and let it sit for 4 weeks in a cool, dry place. Then clean and sterilize the bottles before bottling. Fill the bottle using siphon with the tubing attached, and then cap. Then use hydrometer to calculate the alcohol content and measure the sugar level using a Brix meter.
So the first step for the honey wine making is the preparation for honey sourcing. So one of the biological hazards we are worried about is the microbial contamination in the honey that we are using. First is the biological hazard, which is the microbial contamination. In this hazard, the critical control points are honey sourcing, and the critical limits are the mold and yeast contamination. Less than 100 CFU per gram for yeast and less than 1000 CFU gram for mold. So according to a study from Journal of Clinical Microbiology, a yeast and mold count below 1000 CFU per gram is generally considered to be a low level of contamination in food products, indicating a relatively clean sample. So for the monitoring procedures, we need to conduct a regular testing of incoming honey for biological, chemical, and physical hazards. For the corrective actions, we need to implement a strict protocol for the suppliers to follow. So if these suppliers fail to meet the HACCP plan requirements, take immediate action to find alternative suppliers. And lastly, for the verification procedures, conduct a regular audits of suppliers and internal processes to ensure the compliance with the HACCP plan. Next biological hazard is the beer-related allergens. So the critical control points of this part is the labeling and packaging that should prevent workers from exposing themselves in allergens that may trigger their allergy. And the critical limits are the beer-related allergens that should be less than 10 ppm for the allergens. Monitoring procedures are conduction of regular testing of incoming honey for biological, chemical, and physical hazards. And for the corrective actions, supplier should comply to the standards we made for the HACCP plan and take immediate action to find alternative suppliers if they do not comply on these standards. And for the last step, which is the verification procedures, we need to conduct regular audits of supply and internal processes to ensure compliance with HACCP plan. So next type of hazard is chemical hazards. that includes the pesticide residue in the honey. So most honeys are contaminated with pesticides, or also called as fungicides. That is a type of pesticides that kill or prevent the growth of fungi and their spores. It can be used to control fungi that damage plants, including rust, mildews, and blights. They might also be used to control mold and mildew in other settings like honey production. So these fungicides contain pyrimethamine from 0.05 to 0.3 milligram per kilogram. So to establish the critical limits, we need to establish acceptance criteria for pesticide residues in honey, such as EU MRLs or European maximum residue limits or equivalent standards. For the monitoring procedures, we need to implement a monitoring program to detect pesticide-related contaminants in honey. For the corrective actions, if the pesticide residues are detected above acceptable levels, take immediate action to correct the issue by removing the affected honey from production. And lastly, we need to conduct regular testing of honey to ensure no pesticide is contaminating it. The next type of chemical hazard is the heavy metal contamination. So in this part, we have the critical control points of water and soil testing. For the critical limits, we also need to establish criteria for heavy metals in water and soil, such as European MRLs or equivalent standards. So we need to assume that these honeys are having potential contaminants of heavy metals. In the monitoring procedures, we need to implement a monitoring program and use standard water for soil and heavy metals. There are different types of techniques that we use to detect the heavy metal contamination in some substances, like the ICP-MS, or is also called as inductively coupled plasma mass spectrometry, and another one is the AAS, which is the atomic absorption spectroscopy. So these are widely used analytical techniques for the determination of trace and heavy metal concentration in various samples. For the corrective actions, if heavy metal levels are detected above acceptable levels, take immediate action to correct the issue by removing the affected honey from the production and finding alternative source. And for the verification procedures, we need to conduct regular testing of water and soil to ensure compliance with the plan.
So for our next step is infiltration. So we have three main hazards, mainly biological, chemical, and physical hazards. So for biological is possible growth of bacteria, yeast, and production of mycotoxin from the yeast. It can be mainly caused by from the additives or from the honey itself na magkakos sa mga bacterial contamination and yeast. Next naman natin is yung chemical hazard. So mainly ang chemical ay galing sa mga cleaning agents na ginagamit panglinis ng mga containers, equipments, ganun. Next naman is physical hazards. For physical hazards, it is mainly from foreign objects, for example, glass breakage, deteriorated equipment tulad ng mga nasirang metal parts from equipment, or yung sa mga basag na mga or napigtas na mga part ng mga metal containers. Next naman natin is yung critical points. First, we have pore size of the filter medium. So for the critical limits naman ito, it should be able to filter a sufficient amount of contaminants. So the pads, cartridges, diatomaceous earth. So dito naman dapat umpisa pa lang ng pag-filter, natatanggalan natin yung mga residue from sa pag-harvest ng honey. So for example, nun yung mga possible na siguro may mga patay pang insect doon, mga parts ng honey hive, beehives. Consistent flow rate through the filtration system. So we have two critical limits for this critical point. Maintain a pressure of 2 bar pressure filtration and ensure the mean temperature during filtration does not exceed 25 degrees Celsius. So dito, tawag dito, dapat continuous lang yung pag-flow ng mid through filtration system. So para maiwasan natin yung pagkakaglag or pagclog or pagkaipon, dahil alam natin na sticky yung honey. So until pag na-stuck lang doon, may ang hirap niya na alisin. So for the critical limit, so may sinisunod tayong pressure dito sa pag-flow para dire-diretso lang and walang hindi siya may hinto or hindi may iba yung flow na kailangan para ma-filter ng maayos yung honey natin. So next naman is the filtration does not exceed 25 degrees Celsius. So ito para mini-maintain lang siya para continuous talaga yung flow, kasi pag nag-iba yung temperature ng honey through filtration system, mag-iiba rin yung consistency niya and maapektuhan nito yung quality ng honey itself. So continuously monitor the flow rate of mead through the filtration system. Use flow meters or observe the rate of liquid passing to ensure it remains within the specified limit. So dito, tawag dito, i-monitor lang natin continuous or consistent ba yung flow ng honey natin throughout the filtration process. So para the same or exact quality na pasado dun sa specified limits na kailangan sa honey natin para mag-proceed sa next procedure natin. So next naman is regularly check and maintain the temperature of the milk as it passes through the filtration system. Monitor any variation that could affect the filtration efficiency or product quality. So kagaya nga na sinabi ko kanina, may minimum amount lang of 25 degrees Celsius. Hindi dapat lalagpas or bababa dito yung temperature ng ating honey during the filtration process. Dahil magkakaroon na alteration sa viscosity, and then it can also alter the taste or the quality itself talaga ng honey. So the honey is too fast or too slow for the optimal flow for the filters. Adjust flow control syllabus to reduce the rate to within acceptable limits. Verification procedures. So in here we have regularly calibrate temperature monitoring equipment, regularly monitor and record the flow rate of mead through the filtration system during operation. Consistent flow rate through the filtration system. So we have two critical limits for this critical point. Maintain a pressure of 2 bar during pressure filtration and ensure the mead temperature during filtration does not exceed 25 degrees Celsius. So dito, tawag dito, dapat continuous lang yung pag-flow ng mead through filtration system. So para maiwasan natin yung pagkakaglag or pagclog or pagkaipon, dahil alam natin na sticky yung honey. So until pag na-stuck lang doon, may ang hirap niya na alisin. So for the critical limit, so may sinisunod tayong pressure dito sa pag-flow para dire-diretso lang and walang hindi siya may hinto or hindi may iba yung flow na kailangan para ma-filter ng maayos yung honey natin. So next naman is the filtration does not exceed 25 degrees Celsius. So ito para mini-maintain lang siya para continuous talaga yung flow, kasi pag nag-iba yung temperature ng honey through filtration system, mag-iiba rin yung consistency niya and maapektuhan nito yung quality ng honey itself. So continuously monitor the flow rate of mead through the filtration system. Use flow meters or observe the rate of liquid passing to ensure it remains within the specified limit. So dito, tawag dito, i-monitor lang natin continuous or consistent ba yung flow ng honey natin throughout the filtration process. So para the same or exact quality na pasado dun sa specified limits na kailangan sa honey natin para mag-proceed sa next procedure natin. So next naman is regularly check and maintain the temperature of the milk as it passes through the filtration system. Monitor any variation that could affect the filtration efficiency or product quality. So kagaya nga na sinabi ko kanina, may minimum amount lang of 25 degrees Celsius. Hindi dapat lalagpas or bababa dito yung temperature ng ating honey during the filtration process. Dahil magkakaroon ng alteration sa viscosity, and then it can also alter the taste or the quality itself talaga ng honey. So the honey is too fast or too slow for the optimal flow for the filters. Adjust flow control syllabus to reduce the rate to within acceptable limits. Calibrated flow meters or visual observation to verify the accuracy of flow rate measurements. Use standardized criteria. Example ay yung absence of haze or sediment, and then yung clarity ng honey after and before the filtration process to evaluate product quality. So, and then the viscosity as well. So, for our mixing, next step natin ay may 3 major components pa rin: contamination from wild yeast, strains or undesirable bacteria, pesticides residues, and foreign objects. So, let's move na sa critical control points. So, first natin is selection of raw materials. So, dito, especially the honey, water, and fruits na ihahalo natin para sa ating mead. So, dito dapat we ensure that the ingredients are of high quality and free contaminants and suitable for fermentation. So, dito, for example, may growth na ng past yeast, may dry area, hindi na maganda yung quality ng fruit, and then hindi rin malinis yung water, and then dito, may mga fruits kasi na hindi na talaga suitable for fermentation. For example, yung parang super hinog na yung close na sa pabubulok. So it can contains yeast or other fungi na pag hinalo natin sa honey natin and water, doon sila magpo-proliferate. Tapos hindi na maganda yung quality ng ating mead. Next critical points, proper mixing of honey, water, and additives. So for the critical limits, ensure uniform distribution of ingredients for consistency, fermentation, and all ingredients are dissolved completely. So dito dapat measure natin appropriately and uniformly accordingly sa mead na gusto nating makuha sa end product natin. So too much water, honey, fruits, and any additives can really affect the result ng quality or kung anong klaseng mead yung ipoproduce natin. For efficiency ng ating fermentation. So for the monitoring procedures, inspect incoming ingredients, especially the honey, water, fruits for quality and integrity. So to make sure na free siya from any form of contaminants, or for example mga insects, pesticides, other organisms. Measure pH level at regular intervals using a calibrate pH meter. So dito naman may optimal pH pa rin tayo nire-regulate dahil it can affect the affect yung yung meat na maipoproduce natin dahil too acidic siya. So most likely hindi siya ganun ka-okay. Hindi natin ma-maintain yung fruity flavor niya dahil parang magdidiretso parang super wine na siya or magiging super fermented type of thing na siya. So monitor and control mixing temperature to prevent deviations that could affect yeast activity. So yan nga, dapat consistent and monitor natin temperature, pH, and everything throughout the process para hindi tayo magkakaroon ng any interruption or mapapatay natin yung yeast for the fermentation. Next, implement and document sanitation protocols for equipments, containers, and work surfaces. Dahil nga mixing ito, so dapat free from any contaminants as much as possible or as little lang or thorough clean talaga siya. So, para ma-eliminate natin yung possible growth ng yeast and bacteria. Ganun. Corrective actions natin. So, if the pH measure the pH using calibrated pH meter, adjust with approved acids or bases to bring it within the specified range. So, the same sa kanina, nandito rin yung reasons and corrective actions na iti-take natin if ever na mangyari itong incident na to. If the temperatures fall or rise within the optimal temperature, adjust the temperature control settings to bring the mixtures to temperature within the optimal range. Next is, if contamination occurs, review and enhance ingredient inspection procedures to prevent contaminants and thoroughly clean and sanitize equipment, containers, and surfaces involved in mixing. So next naman is purification procedure. So regularly calibrate mixing equipment, pH meters, thermometers, and other relevant instruments for us to ensure na accurate and tama yung mga result ng equipment na pinoproduce natin. We are going to check for important details para sa ating mixing. So next na, perform visual inspections of the mixture mead during and after mixing. Check for uniformity or of color, texture, and consistency of the honey. So we have different types of mead. So we do have a specific quality na hinahanap natin when it comes to clarity, viscosity, and texture, pati even the color itself. Dahil nga nag-add na tayo ng ibang ingredients ito tulad ng fruits and widely. So ganun, kailangan the same siya sa visuals ng kailangan natin as well as the taste itself kailangan natin. So for the critical limits, maintain mixing temperature within the specified ranges to optimize yeast activity and fermentation efficiency. So in mixing dapat madidissolve talaga lahat or incorporate lahat ng ingredients na kailangan natin. So dapat it is also within a specified and consistent temperature throughout the process. So dito dapat hindi siya super init. So around 25 degrees lang dapat yung ma-maintain natin na temperature sa mixing natin para throughout the process ma-maintain natin yung optimized temperature for the yeast to activate. So next para for efficiency ng ating fermentation. So implement and document sanitation protocols for equipments, containers, and work surfaces. Dahil nga mixing ito, so dapat free from any contaminants as much as possible or as little lang or thorough clean talaga siya. So para ma-eliminate natin yung possible growth ng yeast and bacteria. Ganun. So next naman is, if there are undissolved ingredients or of consistency in the mixtures, modify mixing time and intensity to ensure thorough blending of the ingredient. Next naman is periodically validate the mixing process to confirm its capability to consistently produce mead meeting quality and specification. So in here, per batch natin siya dapat check. So dapat sa batch na yon the same dapat lahat ng outcome ng honey or mead na ginagawa natin. So magkakaroon ng parang sa umpisa maayos siya and then sa mga next hindi na. So we need to check kung ano yung nangyayari, kung ano yung mali sa mga next process. if too much heat na ba or super lamig na ay lumamig na below 25 degrees Celsius yung temperature during mixing natin, or may other factors pa tulad ng mga sa fruits or too much water, ganon. And then so ang next step naman natin ay boiling and cooling. So we also have three components for our boiling and cooling. So first naman is yung biological hazards and reintroduction of contaminants. So in here, there is possible reintroduction of contaminants tulad ng bacteria and yeast sa ating mga container or cooling area. Pag napatunayan sila ng boiling process, so possible na meron doon sa ibang containers or cooling area if hindi natin yun nalinis thoroughly. So next is chemical hazards, residues from cleaning agents, and then physical hazards naman yung foreign object. Next naman natin is yung critical points. Boiling the mixture to pasteurize the mixture. So in here we boil the honey or honey mixture for the ingredients to incorporate properly. So yung mga ingredients during mixing, iboboil natin yun para mahalo talaga siya totally. And then para lang ma-make sure na sanitize talaga yung ating honey mixture. And then yung mga additives natin tulad ng fruits, sugars, and others, if natunaw yun, so they will i-enhance nila yung flavor ng ating meat or honey. So next critical control points, ensure our equipment and services are properly clean and sanitized, especially dun sa mga cooling area natin para sa ating meat. Dun yung prone sa contaminants. Cooling the boiled meat to fermentation temperature. So in here dapat pag cooling process na natin, tawag dito, optimal yung cooling temperature natin and slowly yung pagko-cool natin para ma-maintain natin yung yeast activity na natin sa ating meat. So next, and then next naman natin is yung critical limits. Temperature maintained boiling temperature typically between 90 degrees and 100 degrees for a specific time and period. So may ma-maintain na dapat natin na temperature. So 90 to 100 degrees Celsius for the honey to be pasteurized and dissolved, or dapat ingredients within the honey and within the honey mixture. So minimize exposure of the boiled meat to potential contaminants during cooling. So kaya nga kailangan yung containers natin during cooling are thoroughly clean and naka-covered, may cover dapat para ma-prevent yung mga airborne contaminants natin. And our monitoring procedures pala. First, measure the temperature regular intervals to ensure it reaches maintains the critical temperature. So continuous or dapat may interval tayo na mini-measure natin yun during boiling ng ating honey and then yung cooling during the critical temperature. So dito na yung mga yung talagang nade-dissolve na or natutunan or nagko-cool down na at yung ating honey. Ensure heating time aligns with the critical limit established for pasteurization to effectively destroy harmful microorganisms. So dito, so yung 90 to 100 degrees Celsius ay dapat ma-maintain natin siya or ma-reach natin siya to kill microorganisms na present sa ating honey. Next gamit natin. Minimize exposure to airborne contaminants by covering the vessel or using lids during cooling. So ito sinasabi ko kanina na well protected dapat yung ating container and then yung cooling area para free from contamination ay ang ating corrective action. So first natin ay if boiling vigorously, reduce the heat slightly or use diffuser under the pot to distribute the heat evenly. So yan nga. So basta around 90 or 100 ma-maintain natin yung temperature na yun. If tingin natin super init na and nasusunog pa rin yung or super na yung boiling niya, we will use diffuser na lang to under the pot, so to evenly distribute the heat or hindi lang na-stuck sa isang area para balance yung pagkakaboil. So next naman, if there is a foam building during boiling, adjust the boil time according to recipe guidelines to ensure proper sterilization and cover and flavor concentration. So dito, during heating kasi, so nagkakaroon ng bubbles. So yung bubbles na yun habang nagpo-boiling, nagpo-form siya ng foam. So sa foam, yung foam na yun, dapat wala siya masyado or wala talaga as in during the boiling. So makaka-apekto kasi yun sa flavor ng ating meat. So and then if too much din siya, so impossible na parang mag-overflow or masira yung container natin during boiling. So ang gagawin natin, dapat i-adjust natin yung heat na or temperature and then yung time na rin during the boiling process. So para ma-reach pa rin natin yung results na kailangan natin na sterilize siya and then yung flavor ay ma-maintain natin. So next naman natin is yung verification procedure. So dito naman, calibrate and sanitize equipment to minimize contamination. So ito kasi yung crucial procedure ng ating meat making. So dapat ma-maintain natin yung high quality during boiling and cooling. So next naman, maintain detailed notes, boil times, temperature, and any deviation from the recipe. So dito i-take note natin if sa isang recipe na to, acceptable ba yung temperature or na to during boiling, yung cooling area na to ay acceptable din ba yung pag-cool ng ating honey, and then wala siyang any contaminants, and if natunaw ba lahat ng ingredients during boiling process. Next na 18 to 24 degrees Celsius gradually. And then let's cool down from boiling temperature fermentation from within this specified times. So yun na para ma-maintain. So 18 to 24 degrees para ma-maintain natin yung yeast activity natin. So check for any signs or burning or scorching. Ensure that all equipments and utensils during first muna is dapat during boiling wala nasusunog na part ng honey. So dapat continuous pa rin yung pag-mimix nun para sa ilalim hindi siya nasusunog. So naro-rotate natin properly yung mixture para thoroughly siya matutunan and walang nasusunog. Next naman natin is if there are contamination during cooling, ensure all cooling equipments are thoroughly sanitized before transferring them. And nasabi ko na kanina, prone to contamination during cooling process. So dapat ma-maintain natin yung cleanliness, and if merong mag-occur man na contamination, so i-disregard na natin yung batch na yon, and then i-sanitize natin yung cooling area before the transferring of the new batch of the meat. So next naman natin, each batch to ensure consistency and flavor and quality. So ito nga yung sasabi ko kanina, may hinahabol tayong quality depende sa klase ng meat na ginagawa natin. So per batch, dapat nagkakontak tayo ng sensory test. So for the viscosity, flavor, color, scent, dapat the same sila lahat, or kung hindi man the same, almost the same. If the same naman, so if meron naman naiiba, so i-discard na. If meron naman hindi masyado naiiba, so ang gagawin natin ay magkakaroon lang ng alteration ng konti sa flavor, or magkakaroon tayo ng anting additives. After cooling and before pitching, yeast taste and smell the meat. So yun na nga, one type ng sensory is yung taste. So dapat yun yung kailangan na matitigba mo yung flavor or yung texture na gusto mo sa meat na yun. Use thermometer to monitor temperature. Verify that the meat reaches pitching temperature. So yun nga, during boiling or cooling, i-measure natin if na-reach ba natin yung pitching temperature range na yun for our meat to be of high quality. So that's all for the boiling and cooling ng ating meat.
Now, let's move on sa next process ng production ng meat, which is ang fermentation. Meron tayong two possible hazard dito, which is isang biological, isang chemical. And sa biological hazard, dito yung contamination or proliferation ng unwanted microorganisms such as yeast, molds, and bacteria. Sa yeast, dito yung Saccharomyces, and sa molds, dito yung Aspergillus and Penicillium, and sa pathogenic bacteria naman is yung E. coli and Salmonella species, and as well as the other sporish microorganisms such as Lactobacillus species and Bacillus species. And ang critical control point natin for this hazard, ang mismong fermentation process. And ang ating critical limits ay temperature and pH ay dapat ma-maintain ang temperature ma-maintain sa cool temperature, which is around 10 to 24 degrees Celsius, while yung pH for meat naman ay should not exceed 4.6 para maiwasan dito yung pag-contaminate or proliferation ng unwanted microorganisms. Ang temperature and pH ay important since ito yung magte-tell if ang final product natin ay safe for proceeding in bottling and for consuming. Next is fermentation. Fermentation time. Ito yung 4 weeks before bottling. The meat will be ready in just 4 weeks. And ito ang standard duration for meat, but it could go farther since wine and meat ay mas better yung lasa if fermented longer. However, in order to get the best final product or best final meat, 4 weeks ang recommended fermentation time para na rin ito sa pag-avoid sa over-fermentation as well as pag-grow ng other organisms. Sa headspace gap, dapat ito yung bottom of airlock to top of meat. Ito yung allowance sa loob ng fermentation bottle, which is called carboy. Ang airlock is important para sa pag-release ng CO2 para hindi sumabog yung carboy o yung bottle or fermentation bottle during fermentation. Since magkakaroon ng bubble or foam formation sa taas ng meat, kaya tayo naglalagay ng allowance between the bottom of the airlock and top of the meat. Since this foam and bubble ay magpo-produce during fermentation nga. So kapag umabot to sa airlock or sa pinakataas na carboy ay magre-result ito sa possible contamination as well as ito yung makakasira sa mismong product. So for monitoring, mahalaga na ma-maintain natin yung temperature na hindi mag-exceed sa 24 degrees Celsius since within that, baka magkaroon na tayo ng proliferation ng unwanted microorganisms na maaaring pathogenic or spoilage microorganisms. And we should always keep track sa fermentation time, which is 4 weeks, as well as regular check sa ating carboy airlock, especially the foams na na-form. Since kapag umabot ngayon, diba, sabi kanina, masisira yung mismong product or parang makakontaminate siya. So, next is, monitor daily by recording the condition of fermentation. And this basic and simple monitoring procedures ay makakatulong sa pagkakaroon natin ng magandang final product and at the same time is safe and delicious meat. Moving on sa corrective actions. If the temperature pH exceeds 24 degrees Celsius, salvage it by adjusting the fermentation condition or dispose the product immediately kapag hindi na talaga siya masasalba. So, another one is if fermentation time exceeds more than 4 weeks, kailangan mo natin i-assess yung condition ng meat bago natin to itabi or i-dispose kapag i-dispose lang natin siya kapag wala siyang bad smell or parang off na yung characteristic niya. So if it shows off flavor or aroma, i-dispose na lang natin siya. Next is if foam reaches the airlock during fermentation period, carefully clean it and replace it with sanitized one. However, kapag ito'y hindi na talaga salvageable, like parang sirang-sira na yung final product, i-dispose na natin to. Sa verification period naman is review records of fermentation procedures to ensure adherence to critical limits. Then, regularly check the condition of the fermentation in carboy. However, sa documentation naman, kailangan natin i-record yung fermentation from the start ng process to the end ng fermentation period para safe. Kailangan ito ma-document. Then, record the corrective actions done before, during, and after fermentation, kung meron man. So, lastly is document the microbiological test results for contamination. All of these are important to take note sa fermentation process ng mead in order to prevent the contamination or proliferation of biological hazards such as bacteria, yeast, and mold, as well as other smallish microorganisms. Now, let's move on sa another hazard, which is ang chemical hazard. Ito yung mycotoxin production na nanggagaling sa several fungi species. At ito yung ochratoxin na nanggagaling sa Aspergillus, and aflatoxin na galing sa Saccharomyces cerevisiae and Aspergillus, patulin, and dito yung Aspergillus and Penicillium species. Sa CCP, or critical control point, same lang siya sa kanina, which is ang fermentation process. Sa critical limits naman, kagaya ng kanina, temp and pH is important with this process since sila yung magte-tell if yung quality ng meat natin is at its best quality. Dagdag dito yung dapat ma-maintain natin yung humidity ng environment as well na ipi-place natin yung fermentation bottle or yung carboy. Dahil since pag low humidity level, na-inhibit nito yung growth ng unwanted microorganisms sa ating meat. On the other hand, one of our critical limits for fermentation process for the prevention of mycotoxin production, we should look for the absence of pellicle, which is typically na makikita natin na black or green sa surface ng meat, since this is an indication of overgrowth of fungi such as molds or yeast, and ito nabibigay ng bad smell. For monitoring procedures, same lang siya sa previous table for the biological hazard, but as an addition to that, we should implement routine testing for mycotoxin that should be applied before and if applicable during and after fermentation. Since with this test, we can make sure na our meat is at its best quality, which is also safe for proceeding in bottling, storaging, as well as for consuming. Sa corrective action, if an evident fungal growth, which is yung pellicle sa surface ng meat, is observed, carefully dispose the product immediately, since if we disregard it, the sign, yun, is baka apekto pa to sa worker na nag-work dito or sa mismong consumer. Sa verification procedure, regularly review records of fermentation process to ensure the quality and food safety of the product. Regularly check the temperature, di ko nalagay, and humidity of the environment, and regularly check the temperature of the product and the humidity of the environment. Then conduct periodic testing of raw materials for mycotoxin levels and ensure results comply with established limits. However, sa documentation naman, halos same na siya kanina. Andito yung record the fermentation process from start to finish, since mahalaga yon. Kasi pag nagkaroon tayo ng contamination, alam natin kung saan tayo possible na nagkaroon ng contamination. Record the corrective actions done before, during, and after fermentation, and document the microbiological test results for contamination. And that's all for the fermentation process. Thank you.
For bottling, packaging, and labeling, yung nilagay naming hazard dito is focused on microbiological hazards. So, introduction of pathogenic bacteria such as E. coli, Salmonella, and spoilage bacteria, Lactobacillus and Pediococcus, wild yeast, Brettanomyces and Saccharomyces cerevisiae, and molds such as Aspergillus brasiliensis and Penicillium expansum. So, hinati naman namin yung critical control point into 4 based on this process. So first is the sterilization of bottles. Critical limit is yung temperature and time for sterilization process in commercial wines is usually or minimum ay 82 degrees Celsius for 1 minute. Meron din namang 100 degrees Celsius but for 30 or 20 to 30 seconds lang. And absence of visible dirt or residue on bottles after sterilization. For monitoring procedure, dapat ay laging minomonitor yung temperature and time during the sterilization gamit yung calibrated thermometer and timer. And regularly inspect bottles after sterilization for cleanliness. Corrective actions naman, if yung temperature or time is hindi nasunod yung nasa critical limit, kailangan i-resterilize only the affected bottles. Ganun din, if may visible dirt or residue na nakita, re-clean and resterilize only the affected bottles. We should also investigate and address the cause of the issue. For verification procedure, regularly calibrate temperature monitoring equipment. Kailangan daw calibrated yung mga ginagamit nating measuring or monitoring equipment para hindi siya makaapekto doon sa critical limit. Conduct periodic microbiological testing of sterilized bottles. And for documentation, kailangan nire-record natin yung mga ginawa nating corrective actions dun sa mga issue para makatulong siya na maiwasan na on the next process. And if applicable, microbiological testing records should also be recorded. Control point 2 is the sanitation of bottles. Dito naman yung gumagamit na ng chemicals, that could also affect the taste of the wine. Also, baka maka-introduce din ng mga microorganism because of the interaction of chemicals and yung mga microorganism doon na if present. So, bottles must be free of any residual contaminants and yung minimum sanitizer concentration is 1:50 dilution na odorless. And yung ginamit namin dito is yung Starsan iodophore-based sanitizer that is produced by 5-Star Chemicals. Ginagamit talaga siya for mga sanitation ng mga storage or bottles na ginagamit for food. And for monitoring procedure, visually inspect bottles for cleanliness and any visible damage. Meron din mga automated machine that could check this, but okay din na i-recheck visually ng mga workers. And measure sanitizer concentration using test strip. Yan. And corrective actions, if merong mga visible dirt or debris, we should rewash the bottles and resanitize if yung sanitizer concentration ay hindi nasunod based dun sa sinabi sa critical limit. Dispose of contaminated rinse water and re-prepare the sanitizing solution na 1:50 dilution. And also, investigate natin dapat yung cause ng issue. For verification procedure, we should conduct a periodic audits of cleaning and sanitation procedure. And documentation, kailangan nire-record natin yung cleaning and sanitation procedures, kasama na rito yung anong type ng sanitizer yung ginamit, ano yung ratio, dilution ratio, and gaano siya katagal. And for critical control point 3, filling with minimal contamination. So, dito na medyo crucial kasi nai-expose sa air yung bottles habang finifill. So, critical limit is to minimize the introduction of airborne or external contaminants during the filling process. Monitoring procedure, kailangan i-observe yung environment kung malinis ba, free from excessive dust or mold. And inspect din yung siphon, tubing, and funnel na gagamitin for filling bago gamitin. And corrective actions. If merong excessive contamination that is observed in the environment, huwag munang ituloy yung filling and sanitize muna yung buong area. And clean the siphon and funnel if merong mga visible contaminants. And ayun nga, dito meron ng automated machine na pwedeng gamitin to check the visible contaminants if hindi kaya ng mata natin. And investigate the cause of the issue para ma-implement yung corrective action. And para ma-prevent na rin yung recurrence ng issue. Also, for verification procedure, conduct periodic audits of filling process and environment. And review documentation of cleaning procedure for the siphon and funnel. So, yung siphon and funnel dapat din is sinasanitize, sterilize bago gamitin. And documentation, maintain records of cleaning procedures for the siphon and funnel. And document any corrective actions taken during filling process. And lastly, the critical control point for bottling, packaging, and labeling is the labeling accuracy. So this is very crucial because critical limit nito is yung labels must be accurate and compliant with all the regulatory requirements since we are achieving the commercial wine. So, dapat kasama na rito yung product wine, ingredient list, kasama na yung allergens, alcoholic content, bottling date, name and address of the producer, nutritional information, and any warnings or handling instructions. For monetary procedure, kailangan na bine-verify muna yung label content against sa product specification and regulatory requirements bago siya i-print, and conduct a physical inspections of bottles during application to ensure lang yung proper placement and legibility. Sa corrective actions, if yung labeling is nakita mong may error na bago mo pa siya idikit or bago mo siya i-print, so edit muna and then reprint with the correct information. And if yung labeling error naman, nalaman mo siya after mo idikit, so i-isolate mo na yung mga bottles na yun, only the affected ones, and investigate also the errors and implement corrective actions to prevent the recurrence of the issue. And verification procedure, maintain the copies of approved label design with production record and conduct periodic units of labeling procedures to ensure accuracy and compliance. And documentation, kailangan din nire-record yung mga approved label designs and revisions, and document any corrective actions taken regarding labeling errors. So additional lang, employees involved in bottling should wear clean gloves and sanitized apron. So kailangan sila rin malinis. And as much as possible, kailangan tied yung hair, ganyan. Workspace should be sanitized before bottling process kasi this is very crucial. Kasi baka pumasok sa loob yung, or baka may ma-introduce ka na bacteria or any microorganism doon sa wine habang isinasalin siya sa bote. We should also consider a closed transfer system for feeding to minimize yung mga air contaminants.
So, for the last part of the meat production process, we've identified one hazard, which is chemical hazard. This chemical hazard involves the development of molds that can alter the original flavor and cause foliage due to prolonged storing, inappropriate temperature, and loose seal. The critical control points of this is storing in cold, dry place for an appropriate amount of time. In critical limits, we've divided it according to two types of meat, which are the classic mead and lighter mead. For classic mead, it can last up to 5 years. For its closure, an open classic mead can last between 3 and 6 months in the pantry and up to 8 months if you keep it in the fridge. And the best temperature for mead storage is about 70 degrees Fahrenheit, about a room temperature, to keep its flavor. For the lighter mead naman, it can last until 6 months after the best buy date as long as it is stored properly. For closure naman nito, open mead can last for a week refrigerated. And the temperature is the same as the classic mead, which is about a room temperature. In monitoring procedures, it is recommended to regularly check how long the bottles of the mead have been stored. Also, inspect the tightness of the cap or cork and the overall condition of the bottles. And monitor the temperature of the storage room or pantry or wine cellar. If the bottles have been stored longer than ideal, check the type of mead and closure of the bottles. If it is an open lighter mead, do not consume and throw out the drink immediately. If a presence of pellicle have been observed on top of the meat, move it out of the storage and throw it away. For the verification, review the records of the production dates and best before dates of the stored bottles, and regularly check the thermometer in the storage room or pantry.